Hi. So, I was supposed to have this video out like last year during my fall quarter here at Davis, but that never ended up happening, mainly because I couldn't vlog consistently, and I also was just experiencing other things at the time. So, I'll just show you my memories of here at Davis and maybe a little bit from home as I talk to you about my experience. I will say though that this isn't my full experience here at Davis, and I'm only going to be talking about, I'm mainly going to be talking about what I went through mentally here. This isn't easy for me to do, but I know that I want to be honest with the people that I love, and that I want to share this because other people could have experienced this or have similar experiences, and I also feel that this isn't something that is talked about a lot, especially for freshmen in college. So just bear with me as I talk about it, because I'm not really going into full detail. Like I said, it's more of a brief explanation, and some of these things I'm still trying to navigate and overcome, because this is all pretty recent for me, or the majority of it is anyway. Coming to Davis was pretty enlightening. This isn't to say that I hate my experience here at UC Davis. It's just a lot of things happened that were an unfortunate circumstance, but I know that it was a long journey and one that I, got through. So I'm pretty excited to be home in the next 2 weeks. And I know I wanted to get this out before the end of May. It's literally May 31st, but yeah, better late than never, I guess. Transitioning from high school to college was pretty exciting at first. I know I was excited, mainly because all my friends were at college a month before I started, since they were on the semester system and UC Davis is a quarter system school. I will say though, I was pretty nervous because quarter system, it goes by pretty quick, and you're constantly taking 4 to 5 new classes each quarter, which is between 12 to almost 20 units, depending on who you are, depending on how many units you give yourself. My fall quarter, I took 12, and then my winter and spring was between 16 and 17 units. So I got used to it though, and I will say that I like it because you get new classes, new professors, new people. So it's not always the same, and it really never gets boring. It just goes by pretty fast sometimes. But other than that, I moved 500 miles away from home. That's 8 hours, between 8 or 9 technically. So I was away from family. I was away from a majority of my friends, but luckily I knew who my roommates were, which were 2 friends, and we all came from the same town. So that was pretty exciting, and I also knew some other people here at Davis, so I really got lucky, I will say that. It was a way for me to get really close to them, and fall quarter was actually pretty rough for all of us, but hey, we all survived. Another thing about the quarter system is that midterms are pretty early on, and they feel they're never ending. I literally have a midterm this week, a day before my finals start. Isn't that crazy? Though it's not all that bad. I don't always have midterms until the final week before finals. Sometimes they're only just 1 week and that's it. But I think this quarter, especially since one of my classes is a psychology class. Yeah, well, I've had a couple exams for that class. It can get pretty annoying, but I think it's something that everyone just gets used to if you go to a school that has a quarter system. So it isn't all that bad. I got pretty used to it, and as much as I hate it sometimes, I rather be in a quarter system than a semester system, just because I'm learning new things all the time. Besides all of that, I'll say my favorite quarter out of the 3 was spring. Winter and then fall would be dead last. Fall quarter was just awful for many reasons. To be quite honest, it was 2 weeks into the quarter before I genuinely went crazy. Crazy barely explains it all. It was hard being honest, and the only people who truly know how awful my fall quarter was were my 2 roommates, Leilani and JJ. They witnessed every side of me, maybe one more than the other, but they both saw me go insane, and well, vice versa. We all kind of went insane. I truly don't know how I would have survived fall quarter without them. I think I would have dropped out if it weren't for them. I don't hate fall quarter entirely, my roommates just made it survivable. My mental health suffered a lot though. Of course, being away from home was a factor, but it wasn't the entire case. I don't think I'm sure what it was entirely, just a lot of things that played a factor in it. Even talking about it now isn't easy. I lost myself, to put it lightly. I stopped showing up to lectures, discussions, and stopped doing my work. Getting out of bed was hard too. Everything was just hard. I cried constantly and was just frustrated at basically everything. I barely socialized and would only hang out with my roommates and maybe like one other person. Losing yourself so quickly hurts. It makes you feel awful things and think awful things too. It hurts to know that I reached an all-time low for the first time in a couple years. To know that I wasn't who I was when I first came into Davis. Admitting that to my roommates wasn't easy. It was scary, really scary, and only one of them knew how bad it got. It makes me want to cry just thinking about it. It isn't easy to share a part of yourself to someone who you admire, love, and care for when it comes to being honest about how you're not doing okay. To tell them that you're hurting and to see that look on their face when you do. When I told my roommate, Jamila, what I was doing, she just held me as I cried. I was scared to tell her. I was scared to be honest with her and to have her think differently of me, but that wasn't the case. She is truly the sweetest and most kindest roommate of all and really understanding. But still, it was still scary. Because how do you tell someone that you're hurting yourself? That it truly got that low for you so quickly into the year? And it doesn't get any easier talking about it. And I rarely talk about it. So, this is me being honest. I promised her I wouldn't do it again, and that I hadn't done it in a couple of days. I'm very thankful for her, to have reconnected with her during high school and experienced college right alongside her. We truly went through so much together. We trust each other so much. We all do. Leilani, my other roommate, I miss having you here with us at Davis. I can't wait to see her over the summer and hang out. She was who I hung out with most of my fall quarter. I grew dependent on her, so it was hard not to have her around every day during my winter quarter. We hung out so much and did stuff. I went to events for her, especially when I knew I had to get myself together. She's the one who inspired me to start counseling. I meant to do it much earlier, but I didn't get to it until sometime into my winter quarter. I miss setting up a cot on the ground and watching movies with her. I hope for her to come back to Davis, but we still talk at least once a week. Going home for winter break was pretty scary. I cried on the airplane ride back home, more out of fear than relief. When I saw my mom for the first time in like 3 months, I cried. I wanted to tell her everything, but didn't know how or how to be honest with how my fall quarter really went. My time at home was nice, but it didn't take the stress or fear I felt about going back to Davis away. When I went back, I cried on the plane too. I didn't know what I wanted to do anymore, what to study or how I was going to go about it. Winter quarter was pretty much a learning experience, but it had its fun, besides the weather. Riding at night with fog in your eyes is a very interesting experience. Oh, and daylight savings sucked too. Eventually I did figure it out, and stressed about my future goals and career a lot less. As I said earlier, I got into counseling. I started to take care of myself and rebuild. Obviously, there were still moments where I cried, where I wanted to skip class or sleep longer. Sleep was pretty awful during winter quarter. I think I was sleep deprived more often than not. And I was down a roommate, a friend and companion to dine with. Still, I persevered. I showed up to every single class. My GPA, as well as grades, looked better. I forgot to mention that during my fall quarter, that I did not pass one of my classes, chemistry. I completely gave up on it. And then I learned what academic probation was. But it's not as scary as it sounds, and trust me, I was kind of scared when I got that email. But I was not in good academic standing when it came to passing units, because you're supposed to pass 12 units per quarter, or at least 12 units per quarter. But I learned that I wasn't the only freshman to experience it. I wasn't alone. It was hard to remind myself of that. It just meant that I was missing 2 units, so in my winter quarter, when I finished it, I regained the 2, since I was taking like 16 or 17 units anyway, so I was like way over. In a winter quarter, I got used to the quarter system, passed all my classes, and was way more comfortable with what I wanted to do. However, in this journey of healing, I got nerfed by an eye infection, or like a sty. If you know what a sty is, it was basically kind of like that, just a little bit different. And I don't remember the name, nor do I want to look it up, so you're just gonna have to go based on my words. Just know that it made me really insecure, and that I still managed to show up to my classes, every single one of them. I did not miss a class. I did not miss any like social event. I still showed up, guys. I truly suffered, but I had support. I was in a better mental place, or at least getting there slowly. As much as I wish to go over everything that happened, I will not. Luckily, my suite mate, I had 6 of them. Our suite had 3 dorms and 2 of our own bathrooms and sinks. Just a quick FYI. One of my suite mates, at least, saved my life with something that got rid of my eye thingy within like a week or a couple of days. Lifesaver, for real. I really love that girl because she really saved my life, guys. So my insecurity went away by the time I went home. It kind of still remains on my eye, but it's like not even that noticeable. It's only because I stopped putting like warm compressions on it, so like I low-key stopped worrying about it. I survived another quarter, and I got to go back home for like 2 weeks instead of just like 1, because my professor, I had lucky professors, guys. I had finals early, and I only actually had 1 final during finals week, so yeah. Coming home felt nice, and I was finally honest with my mom. Not about everything, of course, but like what happened academically and a bit of it mentally. Like she just knew that I got into counseling. Unfortunately, during my spring break, I lost my great grandma. And that was not the easiest thing to go through. She lived a full life, but it didn't stop me from feeling the guilt I had deep within. It hurt more than I expected, and would be hard to explain without going through so much detail. To put it shortly, I took a class in my winter quarter about death. Whatever you're thinking, I guarantee it's not what you think it is. It's basically exploring about like how death is approached in society, or something similar to that. You just have to go into this class with an open mind. But I'm really glad I took this class. It opened my eyes and made me think about the things that death brought. I also learned about my ancestry around the time, and was suggested by a peer to talk about it with my great grandma, because I didn't really know where my family came from in Mexico, specifically my dad's side because they come from Mexico. My other side comes from El Salvador, but I don't really have any stories, and I didn't know where in Mexico she came from. And they suggested that, she's only going to get older, so I should, record a voice and have that, However, when I did return home, I didn't immediately go visit my dad's side. I found out she died from my younger brother, who texted me Wednesday morning around like 10 or 11. And finally I visited them that day for a couple of hours. I didn't expect to cry so much, but there was laughter that came with that, although the guilt ate me alive, and I really couldn't express why. It still creeps into my mind and makes me feel all those emotions again. When she died, I felt like I was missing a lot. Stories, memories. My nana, my great-grandmother, is someone I can't say I truly knew. I wouldn't say I'm close to my father's side. I see them a few times out of the year. It's not really easy to explain, but it's not like I don't love them, because I do. I just live a completely different life from them, and it's not their fault either. The thing that sucked the most is that I missed her funeral since I had to come back to Davis. and she's also buried in another country. So I don't know when I'll see her burial place, but I do plan on it when I come back home. It just takes time. College is not easy. I'm sure some of you are aware of that. Spring quarter is another season of healing, of taking care of myself. Academically, it is challenging, but I'm glad it's almost over. Of course, I still have to pack, and I have no idea how I'll do it. Finals start next Friday, and I just got through another week of being stacked with so much work. I truly do love spring quarter for the people and my classes. It's crazy to think that I ended high school exactly a year ago. College was truly an experience. Yes, it sounds like I went through so much in a year. I did. I still have much to heal and recover from, but it's not like I can change what happened. The best I can do is learn from it and find peace in it. It won't be easy, but I know I have support. I have people who love me, people I can rely on. My social life grew. I have friends and people I play Roblox with at least weekly. I have friends in just about every class, and really do love the major I'm going to switch into. I have a good counselor who listens to me, gives me advice, and reminds me of how much I have overcome. However, I don't want people to think that I just survived. I lived and persevered. I had fun too. I got involved with clubs or events, and I'm really excited for next year, where I'll have my own apartment and my own room again. As much as I love my roommates, I'm glad to have my own personal space again. We kind of just drive each other crazy at times, but we still love each other at the end of the day. And I also forgot to mention that I got a new roommate during my spring quarter, Olivia, and she's so freaking cool. She's so freaking cool, guys, she's so freaking cool. The coolest of cools. She's awesome, sweet, funny, and kind, and her personality really brings the mix into me and JJ, so she's truly awesome. You just gotta believe me. College wasn't all that bad. What I said wasn't all that I experienced. I went to a party. Not like a sorority or frat party, just like a regular party with theater kids, so, don't get your hopes up. But it was still fun. There was karaoke. Got to pet animals, go to the movies, eat, or go shopping. Although shopping is quite limited here compared to back home. I have no regrets about coming to Davis. I just had to change my environment. While not easy, but was doable. Hopefully next year I can actually be more consistent in blogging. Share more insight into my day-to-day life as a college student instead of giving you a quick rundown. And it's not even detailed at that. So, I wanted to share this because I think a lot of us forget to take care of ourselves, to prioritize our mental health and have balance in our academics and social life. College isn't just about going to classes or studying all the time. You can have fun and find people you have similar interests with. Of course, it's not easy putting yourself out there. I know that, and I had to learn, but I'm glad I did. I have good friends and people to prey on when flee the facility or playing horror games with, which I'm a chicken at. I still talk to my hometown friends and talk to them at least weekly or, every 2 weeks. I mostly just send them TikToks though, if you count that as talking. It's good to get on FaceTime, but whenever I'm home, I know I can count on Diana and Alasia calling me to invite me out with only 10 to 15 minutes to get ready. But hey, at least it comes with free Dutch bros most of the time, or basically all the time. They're my goats for real. I'm so lucky to know people like them, to know people from high school, previous internships, or other parts of my life. Everyone will have different experiences when going to college, but it doesn't mean you have to be alone in it. I wasn't, even though I felt like I was. It's hard to not be so caught up in your head. Bad habits die hard, I guess. But I know I can overcome them. Just about anyone can. I know it's okay to fail. Failure doesn't mean that it's over. It teaches you something valuable and makes you even stronger. It's important to get back up. It is important to value yourself as you would anyone else because you are important. You are loved and you can overcome anything you put your mind to. You can ask for help or even just talk to someone. I'm very privileged to have the people that are in my life. They make everything worth it. I still have lessons to learn and things to accomplish, but my first year of college is just about over. UC Davis taught me a lot, and I can't wait to learn so much more. To future college students, it's okay to be scared, to be anxious, but whatever happens, just know that this isn't some race. that you aren't being compared to someone else. While it is best to be responsible and make the most of it, don't expect everything to be perfect. It was hard for me to learn that and embrace those imperfections and moments of learning. You are in a new environment after all. You're an adult, but you're not supposed to have everything figured out. Trust someone, talk to them when you can't be honest with your family or friends. Take care of yourself and don't be hard on yourself either. Wherever you go or end up, be proud. Seeking out higher education is something to be proud about. Celebrate your small victories and spoil yourself on the higher ones. Treat yourself after exams and don't ever feel guilty for prioritizing time for yourself. That's something I still have to learn. It's hard being kind to yourself, especially when your mind is telling you that you're just slacking off or making excuses not to do work. But it's still a lesson to be learned. Make friends, go out, live and not just survive. If you struggle, don't do it alone. Don't be ashamed or see yourself as weak. We're all human. Love yourself and know that other people do too. You may not see it or think about it, but maybe you have yet to find the people that will. I know I have people that love me and care for me, and who truly wish the best for me. So I have to remind myself that I can always go to them, that I can rely on them. One thing that college has truly taught me is that you're never alone. There are other people, other freshmen, who are going through the same or similar experiences as you. I know I did it, and I know you can too. To my friends and family, near or far, you are my why. You all taught me something: love, hope, trust, inspiration, admiration, faith, strength, and so many other things. You will always be my why. And as I do my best to build myself back up, to be the best version of myself, I hope to see that in you too. That we all become the best versions of ourselves. I wouldn't have my life be any other way without you all, even to the people that are no longer in my life. For the people that have been there, or for ones that are new, thank you. And for those who I may not know, who might see this, you're not alone. And in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, you belong.